how to connect with our children and how to basically help them develop some sense of belonging to the family, so they are less susceptible to losing their way outside, in school, in the street, the university, and so on and so forth. First of all, I have to point out that we have a problem when we say, how do I connect with kids? When they grow a little bit older, that we need to connect with them. I think there's a problem here. Because when the kid is small, they always come to father or mother. Okay. They always come to father or mother, they approach the elders around, and they want to learn from them, they want to be like them, they want to play with them, and so on and so forth. So why is it when they grow a little bit older now, they lose this? And I don't think we need to ask our kids, probably we need to ask ourselves. We really need to ask ourselves, where did we lose our kids along the way? That's the question. Where did we lose our kids along the way? Being a young speaker, I still remember my childhood years. I remember some of the things I craved from my childhood. Not that I didn't get much of it. I got like a fair deal of it, but I always wanted it with my father. Spend more time with them. I wanted to learn from them. I wanted to teach me about life. I wanted to teach me what's the right way of doing things, what's the wrong way of doing things. I got enough of that. I got a fair deal, as a lot of the kids get, but still I felt the need to connect. And my point here is that kids naturally gravitate to father or mother to learn. Because they trust you. They naturally trust you. They're born into this world. They have none but you in their life. They have grown up to trust nobody but yourself. So it happens that down the line they become 13, 14. That trust, they start trusting inside the house, the mother. So what's the point? There's usually, as many things in life, major things in life, they don't happen at one point in time. But maybe the turning has been building up, in the making for such a long time. And usually, I'm going to try to trace back what are the small things that build up over time. That get us to a point, or get the child to a point where they don't want, they don't trust the father anymore, or they're not interested in their mother anymore, and they're interested in their, peers and their colleagues and their friends, more than, and probably, with other things now, with the TV, with the internet, whatever they have available to them, So these small things build up, and I'm trying to delineate them and try to point them out. First of all, when you're watching that football match, or you're watching that soccer match, or you're listening to the TV show, and busy with that, and the child comes and asks you a question, or the child is going to say, Dad, when I was playing today and this happened and that happened, and I did this and I did that, and you say, yeah. You don't go off the play. Don't talk to your innocent when spent have some fun, checking their Facebook account, or checking their email, or speaking to someone, watching something. But we want to see this from the point of view of the child. The child comes to you with hope. They take you and therefore you don't have to. Best friend, they come in. They are excited about it, they're happy about it, want to share their experience. People are too busy now with so many things. And we think, that's not an important encounter. It actually counts. More and more. When you're attacking the child, sees the pattern of children. It's amazing. They're already born with some knowledge and some skills, and they know how to get out of things. Basic small things. They know how to with the child also to smile back. Smile. Cool. And from their mother. So more intelligence is the same intelligence that is reason that kids are born with. So you always say go to your mom, go to your friends, go and play a video, go and do something. Leave me alone, I'm busy now, not now. Come tomorrow, come later on, come in the evening, see you tomorrow. When you see that from your parents, you get the impression that you're not interested in them. That they a lot of what we call bids. Friendship. You think they're making a lot of bids, and when these bids are turned down, the child gets the impression they're not interested. You don't want to do that. You don't want to spend time with them. You'd rather be with your friends. You'd rather be on your laptop. You'd rather be on your smartphone. You'd rather be on. So you get the impression TV is more important than me. Their cell phone, my father's cell phone is more important than me. Their friends are more important. And so on and so forth. So this is why then later the kid starts to get more power. The bigger kid become more resourceful. They build relationships outside of the kid. And understand things more, access to things on. So they have more resources. They're going to show that. So when they show that they have interest in us and they have found an alternative and they're utilizing it, now we get upset. Now we say the child is not interested. How can I win them over? How can I fix that problem with my relationship with them? How can I be more influential in my child's life? You have burnt all your ships years ago. Consistently, day in and day out, without realizing, thinking innocently, oh, I'm entitled to, get engaged in whatever I am doing now. And all the bids that your kid has offered were unsuccessful with you, and now you want to, work your way back to that relationship when sometimes it's too late. Sometimes the child has developed a belief. They have got a very strong impression that you don't want to be their friends. You don't want to know about them. So when you start now doing the opposite, you start interest. And during the early years, usually the child, the only kind of interest you showed in them is when they did things that really got on your nerves, things that really get you upset, things you didn't like. So not only your children have developed an impression, a very strong impression, actually a belief that you're not interested in them, you'd rather be with someone else, not with them, but they also have seen a pattern that you're only interested in them when you want to force something down their throats, when you want to put them down and point out their mistakes. And that's a formula for enmity. That's a formula for enmity. You're not interested in me except when you want to force something on me. When you want to hijack my liberty and my freedom and my decision, that's when you are interested. But when I approach you, on my own initiative, and I want to share experience with you, you're not interested. That's basically you just want to control me. You're not genuine in your friendship. You're not genuine in your feelings towards me. So that's what the child really develops. And that's why the Arabs, by the way, they had a beautiful statement about children. They said, ابنك في السبعة الأولى ريحانة تشم. Your child in the first 7 years, they're like a rose that you smell. You play with them and you have fun with them and you enjoy them. وفي السبعة الثانية خادم أمين or خادم مطيع. In the second 7 years of their life, they're quite submissive and obedient. Maybe that's changing in the 7 years now. But at least that's the second stage. You tell them, go and get me this, they'll get you that. Go and do this, they'll go and do that. They're quite obedient. وفي السبعة الثالثة وما بعدها عدو أو صديق. And in the third 7 and whatever comes after it, they're either a close friend or an enemy. And what decides, what your child ends up being towards you, is what you did in the first 14 years of their life. 10 minutes? I've just started. But, so this is why I wanted to challenge the concept. Instead, if you thought that I was going to share with you, listen, spend time with your kid, do this, probably that might work, but to a limited extent. We need to challenge the concept, because sometimes if we're working on the wrong mindset, whatever you do will not, give about results, will not be helpful. So we want to challenge the mindset. So the question is, how do I connect with my child? That's the question being posed. But I think the real question is, for those whose children are still young, how can I make sure I never lose the connection with my child that's already there? How do I make sure that I never turn down the bids for friendship from my kids and my children? And how do I maintain the attitude that they already have naturally, which is they gravitate to me and they approach me and they want to build that relationship, they want me to be part of their life? How can I maintain that? For those whose kids have grown older, is we really have to come face to face with the responsibility is that, did I really lose my kid some point on the way to this point here with my kids? Have I really lost that connection? And we have to take responsibility for the fact that it's not my child's mistake, because children are children. They're just going to behave in their own innocent, spontaneous way. If they find a lot of connection and love from you from the early stages, they will maintain that. And they want to connect to you. And if you really speak to a child in a moment of honesty and they open up to you, you manage to get them to really speak their mind, you will see, and they will tell you that a lot of their pain comes from feeling not being heard, not being understood, not being appreciated by their parents. It hurts. It hurts not to be appreciated by a parent. And even though the child, after a certain age, probably in their teenage years, they become more rebellious, they initiate that distance. They want to stay away from you. They don't want to be friends with you. They don't want to listen to you. They don't want to take advice from you. They don't want your input. They're actively doing this, but that's a response to what you have done. And it's hard to get them back at that point. It's really hard to get them back. And although they seem to be initiating it, this is a reaction. And we are responsible for it. So unless we take responsibility as parents, unless we take the moral responsibility that it's my responsibility that my child is not listening to me, I've done something wrong. I haven't paid enough attention. Innocently so. Innocently so. But, we live in a physical world where an action has a reaction. You can't hold a vase and just let go of it on a hard floor and say, I did that innocently, it shouldn't break. It's going to break. If you leave it, it's going to break. If you start messaging on your smartphone as you're driving on a highway, you get involved in an accident and say, I didn't really mean it, you're still going to get in an accident. You're going to get in a car crash. So things have consequences. So even though you were busy, you were tired, etc., if you turn down the bids of friendship of your child, and now they turned into a monster now, they don't want to listen to you, they don't want anything to do with you, they don't want to take your advice, then take responsibility. And I'm not saying play a blame game, because that's what we usually confuse, responsibility with blame. Taking responsibility is a moral concept. And that means basically, it was my actions that led to this outcome. And I'm not going to beat myself down. I made a mistake in my ignorance, in my busyness, in my, in the light of my conditions, under pressure. I just did that. I'm going to take responsibility. But I'm not going to beat myself down. So since I take the responsibility, that's going to empower me in the sense, I'm going to take the state between me, the relationship between me and my kid now, as it is, as my starting point. How can I start building a new relationship, start afresh, start a new chapter with my kid as he is now? Now he's almost an adult. He's a teenager. He's an adult. I'm going to treat him as an independent individual, as someone that I've met in the masjid, I met in the street. I want to make friends with him. That's how I'm going to start. I'm going to get a new start with him, because I messed up in the past. And I'm not going to blame myself. I'm not going to blame my child. I'm not going to play this blame game. I'm not going to wallow in remorse and pain. And had I done that, it would have been different. Don't get involved in this. Taking moral responsibility means I'm going to accept things as a fact. They're a fact of life. I'm just going to deal with it. That's my drawing board. I'm going to start from here. That's my step number one. Number two, I'll do everything I can to make things better. And I'm not going to go into the past in an emotional manner and blame myself and blame my wife or blame my spouse or blame my relatives or blame my boss at work. Responsibility and blame don't go together, by the way, although we confuse them. But responsibility and accountability go together, go hand in hand. So responsibility means I understand it's my fault. I'm not going to blame my child. He was a child. He was innocent. He doesn't know. That's the way he could react. And I'm going to leave it at that with my child. Then after that, now he's an adult. He has injuries. He has scars, emotional scars. I'm probably responsible for them. Now I'm going to deal with him as an adult. I'm going to give him the space where I can be a genuine, sincere friend to him. And this is why, again, I think this is an Arab proverb, and I believe this is in every culture. They say when your child grows, take him as a brother. Take him as a friend. Befriend him. Don't treat him as a child. And the problem is, parents will always look at their children as little kids. They will always see that, but we have to resist it. We have to resist that, because sometimes nothing is more insulting to an adult than being treated as a child. Especially when they have a history of not being trusted when they were kids. Because, by the way, there are people who live in so much pain through their life. Their parents have passed away. And the source of their pain is that they lived with a parent, and in their life there was a parent they could never please. They could never. So they lived their life in their mind trying to prove to their parent that I am worthy, I am capable, I can do things, I can achieve things, I'm better than what you thought. When I was a kid, I was messing everything up. I am, and I am, and I am. There are people who live in that pain. In all their life, they're trying to prove to their even deceased parents that they are worthy, that they are capable, that they are good enough, and so on and so forth. Let's not do this to our kids. So for me, that really solves the problem right from the roots. So, and again, this is my call on every parent who has children who are still young. Pay attention to the small bits of friendship that your child makes. They come to you, Daddy, did you see that? Sometimes they'll talk to you about something really stupid. They're children, and a small mind, that's the whole world. But for you, this is something that's already stupid. But take that seriously. Become a child, as Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu said. He says it's good for a man to be a child in their house, to behave like a child. Get down to their level, speak with them with real curiosity and a genuine interest in them, and you will see that your child will, this will actually help your child. So don't turn down the bids of friendship that come from your children. Pay attention to them, appreciate them, cherish them, because this is how you build the connection with your child. So when they grow up, even if they get in trouble, even if they get themselves involved in bad things, they will end up coming to you because you are the one they trust. You are the one that they know who really cares for them. And that's a valuable asset. Oftentimes we try to learn techniques on how to speak to a child and how to discipline a child and so on and so forth. We get so immersed into these details. But most of the time it's the spirit of your parenthood. Is the spirit with which you treat your child, is the mindset, is the attitude that you take. So this child is a gift, is a trust from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to you, that you are supposed to treat them the best. You are supposed to befriend them. You are supposed to give them your attention, not only your money and your funds. I'm telling you, when the kids grow up, what they will remember is not the bicycle you bought them, it's not the smartphone that you purchased for them. It's the beautiful times you spent with them with full attention, with full presence, that you were there for them, that they really could just open up to you and speak to you and confide in you, and you were happy to share their world with them. These are the things that stick in their mind, and these are the things that will always shape their life. Until now, I still remember when I was young, I used to drive with my dad during the summer break. He worked in a place where there was a swimming pool. And in my country, it was rare to have a swimming pool. So he would take me to that place. He would work all day, and he would entrust me with one of the trainers there to teach me how to swim throughout the summer break for 3 years. And I had conversations with my dad on the way back and forth on the commute. So he was driving, and it would be for about 40 minutes. These are the things that shaped me the most in my life until now. These are the most vivid memories I have with my dad until today. I remember things he told me that shaped me, things he advised me that really shaped my mind and shaped who I am and created my vision of the world and what living in this life means and what I should do in this life, and so on and so forth. So I believe a lot of my value system is created during these conversations that I had with my dad. So these are the things that really can help you connect with your child. So don't miss out on them. So most of the time we think they are insignificant, but I'm telling you, if you walk away with anything, this is the most important. Life happens in the small daily things. We always, search for romantic moments, exotic moments. But life doesn't happen like this. It's not like Hollywood. It's not really like what you see in the movies. It's not like on TV. And it's not like what all of these YouTubers are doing. Real life happens in very dull moments, simple moments, daily moments, routine. That's what all of these things build up, and they shape a life, and they basically shape the future of your child and the future of the relationship that you have with him. And if you have a good relationship with your child, that's the most important asset, because then whatever happens in their life, they'll always come back to you. They'll always identify with you. They will take you as their guidance, even in subtle ways. So I hope, inshallah, that you guys find this practical in the first place. And if that resonates with you, act on this. Act on this and do it tonight. Do it tonight. If you have children, younger children, from now on, make a point that every time they approach you, you really pay attention to their bids of friendship. You open up to them and see it as a gift when they come to you and tell you about their silly things, about their stupid things. Take it as a gift, because they actually put you in a very important place in their life as they are opening up to you, sharing their life with you. Because if you don't do it now, later on when they become teenagers and adults, you would crave that and it won't happen. You would actually wish for that to happen. And it won't happen if you have not built that from the early years of your relationship with them. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us connect with our children, and to help us raise them in a way that pleases Him, that makes them strong Muslims who are really firm in their values and their principles, and who can live relevant in this world and who can have an impact. Jazakumullah khair for the organizers for this beautiful opportunity. I really feel honored, and thanks for your attendance and for your attention. I really appreciate that. You guys giving me about 25 minutes of your time is a valuable thing I don't take for granted. So I hope it was something worth it. Jazakumullah khair. Barakallahu feekum wa sallallahu wa sallam ala sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam.